Good morning, everybody, or at least this morning for me. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, we're going to go over one of the oldest playstyles of Udyr. It is called Hybrid Udyr. If you guys don't know, there's a form of Udyr out there where you max Q and R at the same time, so you max both of your damage abilities, and you don't put any points into W or E outside of the 1 point at level 3 and 4 respectively. So the idea is you've got a bunch of extra points in your damage abilities and not a whole lot of points in your turtle shields or your movement speed. Quickly from a top down, it's exactly what you would think. You do a lot of damage, but you're very slow and you're very squishy. So I've been experimenting quite a bit this last week to try and come up with a hybrid build, because I think after the nerfs, that are coming essentially this Wednesday, if you don't know, make sure to go check out one of my more recent videos talking about it, but Udyr is getting nerfed in a big way. With that being said, I think putting points in Q, or maybe even just being a Q max Udyr altogether, a Tiger Udyr player, if you will, might be the way to go. So I've been experimenting. I've tested a ton of builds, and I have narrowed it down to 2 good hybrid builds that I have found. I would encourage you guys to play both. I took one account from Diamond 4 to Diamond 2 playing Hybrid Udyr, and the other account from Emerald 1 to Diamond 3 playing another version of Hybrid Udyr. Both of these versions work quite well, and I would say that they'll give you something a little bit different than the other forms of Udyr. So without further ado, let's jump in. Option number 1. Your build is going to essentially be Shojin, Spear of Shojin first, with Riftmaker second, Jack Show third, and then I usually go all sorts of items in the last 5 and 6 slots. We'll go into that in a second, but your core items are Spear of Shojin, Riftmaker, Jack Show, with runes being Phase Rush, what's this one called? Nimbus, Cloak, Celerity, Water Walking, with secondary runes being Conditioning, Overgrowth, minor runes Adaptive Force, and double scaling health. The reason why this rune page works, and the reason why I essentially cooked up this build, and the reason why, yes, it looks silly to be taking Phase Rush on a Spear of Shojin, but the idea is you're going to max Q first, okay? So first back on this build, you're going to go back to base and get a Findish Codex. It is the Amplifying Tome upgrade, essentially, that builds into Riftmaker. Not only does it give you a nice amount of ability power, but it also gives you ability haste. Ability haste is really important, especially on Hybrid Udyr, because it allows you to get really nice rotations off on those 2 damage abilities you're maxing. Since we're not taking the precision tree, and since we're not picking up ability haste, I really like rushing that Findish Codex to get you the nice 15 ability haste or 10 ability haste or whatever it brings to the table. Then second back, my target second back is I'm getting brown boots plus a pickaxe. So we're actually maxing Q first with the Findish Codex. Sounds weird, but the Findish Codex will improve your clear speed and get you enough ability power to kill your AoE camps with just 1 point in R. Then we pick up a pickaxe and a brown boots second back. Then after that, you're trying to just power farm into a Spear of Shojin. Since you've got a pickaxe, brown boots, and Finest Codex, you've got a ton of farming capability as Udyr. Walk around the map, just keep farming and keep ganking until you get to, I think it's close to 2,200 gold. We'll get you Spear of Shojin. Then we go back to base and get our Spear of Shojin. And then we work towards a Riftmaker, we finish the Riftmaker, and then we upgrade to Jack Show, third item. Jack Show is an incredible tank item. Not only does it give you resistances of both types, armor and magic resist, so it makes up for the fact that you went damage first 2 items, but it also works extremely well with Conditioning, Overgrowth, which are your secondary runes. Since we're going Overgrowth and double scaling health, we've got a bunch of health but no resistances. If you go Jack Show with the Jack Show passive and the Conditioning, because it works together, you get close to 75 armor and magic resist just from your rune page in a single tank item. If you get a Mountain Dragon, it gets even better, right? So it makes you super, super tanky with just 1 item. 5th and 6th item, I get a lot of questions. You know, I actually have I'm going to pull up my Discord here and just read it out loud to you guys. But there are a lot of things you can put 5th and 6th item on a Hybrid Udyr. This will also be true on the second build I go through here in a second. So I want you guys just to know you've got a lot of options. But my favorite options is actually putting Black Cleaver and Abyssal Mask in number 5 and 6. That way you get Team Shred. Not only does Abyssal Mask give you a little bit more magic resist, but it also gives you a giant AoE Team Shred for your magic damage dealing champions on your team. Then if you go Black Cleaver last item, you've got Armor Shred as well. So you're a hybrid QR max healing Udyr with Riftmaker. Because the other nice thing about Riftmaker, if you're wondering why are we going Riftmaker over Liandry's on this build, Riftmaker not only makes up the healing and sustain that we're missing from Conqueror, but it also converts all of that high health, bonus health items. Spear of Shojin gives 450 health if you don't know now. It's converting all that health into ability power, and it scales a lot better with the health we've got. So I am a big fan of Riftmaker, but with Riftmaker, if you go Black Cleaver and Abyssal, you're just a frontline shredding Udyr, and that's going to be your best tank shred build in the game, in my opinion. The second option you've got is Unending Despair and Spirit Visage. You can go Jack Show, Unending Spirit Visage, turn into a giant drain tank, and just play normal tank Udyr. If your team needs AD, let's say your team is extremely AP heavy, and your team needs attack damage, you can go Death Dance and Mob Malmortis. That will not only get you more resistances, but will amp up that attack damage for you. If you need magic damage, put a Liandry's and a Abyssal Mask as that 5th and 6th item, and all of a sudden you're a giant AoE magic damage dealing champion. If you want another really fun tank build that's not Drain Tank, Frozen Heart plus Force of Nature is a really good combo on this build, especially with that Jack Show 3rd. And then final thing, if you want Ultimate Haste, you can actually go Experimental Hexplate and Malignance to get a ton of Awakenings off. That is a very fun combo. I have tested that. In 3 or 4 games, I think I won 3 out of 4. You're spitting out Awaken R's every 8 seconds. Late game, it is so hard for the enemy team to play into because it's just so much damage. So I would encourage you guys to try any of those combos. The second build that I do want to go down real quick, or the second option that you have on Hybrid Udyr, is much more of a tempo option. And I would say it's better for my Diamond Plus Udyr players that, you know, once you get to Diamond, I would argue that jungle very quickly turns into a game of tempo, and which jungler makes the first mistake tends to lose. So at these elos, I actually was experimenting with the second option, and it relies on the Jack of all trades in the inspiration tree. So the build, in case you're wondering, is we're doing Stridebreaker into Liandry's into Frozen Heart. And the rune page that I found the most success with, I tried quite a few things, but it's actually Dark Harvest Eyeball Collection, or Cheap Shot Eyeball Collection, and you know, the minor rune down there alongside secondary tree, since we need that Jack of all trades in the inspiration tree. I actually went the skill potion, whichever the name of the rune is, the triple tonic and the Jack of all trades in the inspiration tree. Why it works, if in case you're wondering, we're Hybrid Udyr, so a skill point on Udyr is worth anywhere from 500 to 1,000 gold, so the triple tonic is extremely high value for you. The other thing that is really nice about Jack of all trades and how you get to your 10 stacks is if you get Merc Treads, which are required on this option, by the way. If you go Merc Treads, Glacial Buckler, Faded Ashes, and then build a Stridebreaker, you've got 10 stacks of Jack Show. It is incredible. The build is extremely reliant on you having Merc Treads, so if you're not planning on going Merc Treads, it's probably not the right game to go this build. But the idea is you get a Tiamat, you get a Faded Ashes, you get a bunch of free damage from your rune page because we're going Eyeball and Jack of all trades. Eyeball will give you 30 adaptive force. Jack of all trades will give you 25. So you've got a ton of tempo. And then you've also got Dark Harvest. So every time you run into a lane with Lightning Q, you're going to be killing somebody because with all your tempo, you've got a nice lead over experience and all that. In addition, we're going Frozen Heart, 3rd item, guaranteed every single game. Not only is it a required to help us get our Jack of all trade stats, but it also gives you armor and makes up the ability haste that we're missing from Spear of Shojin. Hybrid Udyr, like I mentioned at the front of the video, is extremely cooldown reliant, so you need to get cooldown in your build somewhere. Since we're not going that precision tree rune, the ability haste, I did try Conqueror quite a bit. I just think the other runes, the more utility scaling runes, are better on Hybrid Udyr because you're maxing both of your damage abilities and you're building a lot of hybrid damage. It's really, really good and very fun. So those are the two options I've got for you, is essentially Spear of Shojin into Riftmaker into Jack-Sho with Phase Rush and Conditioning Overgrowth. Or you can try Stridebreaker Leandries into Frozen Heart with Dark Harvest and Jack of All Trades. The skill order, I don't know if I mentioned it. I hope I did. You're maxing Q first. I tend to put 3 points in E, and then I max R. So I don't go straight into R. I usually do Q first, 3 points E, max R, finish E. I don't put any points in a W on this build. If you are doing the Phase or the Jack-Sho Spear of Shojin build, you can max W third if you want, but I would encourage you to do Q, 3 points E, max R, and then go from there. You will be surprised not only at the amount of kills you will be getting, but I think you'll be surprised, especially with the Phase Rush rune page on the first setup, how slippery and survivable you are. It is very hard to shut down a Hybrid Udyr. I think a lot of people, have had a lot of success with it. In my Twitch chat and in my Discord, people have been lighting me up with screenshots of them going 13-1, 12-1, 10-1. With Hybrid Udyr. It's an old school play style. People have forgotten about it. There used to be an Udyr player, shout out, I always have to say, his name is Fairytale. He was rank 2 on the North American server back in the day, maxing Q, R, and building full tank. This is a very similar version. Spear of Shojin is 450 health. Riftmaker's 350 health and healing, and then Jack-Sho is armor and magic resist. This is the closest thing I have found to old school Hybrid Udyr, so I would encourage you guys to try it. It is very, very fun. I took a couple accounts, like I said, through mid-diamond in early season with it, so whatever that means to you. We did not push to high elo with it because I've only played it for a week. But I would encourage you guys to try it. I'm probably going to keep playing Tiger and full AP Udyr and a Hybrid Udyr next patch. These are all just fun options you have after the nerfs to consider. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want more videos like this. Also head over to my Twitch where you can catch me playing live. Outside of that, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Dang. Call me so I can make it just for ya.